Okay, so who are you and what did you do today?
My name is Melker. I came in top 8 at the Swedish Championship.
Let's go. And what did you play?
I played Kalgara.
Nice. Shall we go on with the deck profile?
Yeah, absolutely.
A bit tired here, sorry.
To start with, this is standard for Kalgara. I'm not doing anything crazy. Doing 4 upper yards. It's gonna set up for your later turns, and it synergizes as well with your other Shandian warriors. And then we have 3 copies of Shura. I see some people not play Shura, but I find that both because of the trigger and the ability to have another searcher in the early game, you tend to more consistently find your pieces that you need. So I like it. I'm not running 4, but I feel like 3 is pretty good. And then we have 4 copies of Ohm, and of course 4 copies of Holy. They just work.
Synergize well with each other.
Yeah, they synergize well with each other. They don't necessarily synergize well with the leader. They're not Shandian warriors, but they do really help you swarm the board early game. So that's really what you need. And then we have 3 copies of Katakuri. I used to run this list. This is quite a new edition. So I used to run this deck with no blockers, and so many games I just lose because I don't have any defense. So I could run 4, but I decided on 3. Just to have more room for Shuras and the others. It goes really well when you have to go first. So on 5 Dawn you can play this one, and you can use leader ability as well. And usually you combine Katakuri with Wiper. So Wiper can use the upper yard that you play in early game, and then you can search for more Shandian warriors or just another upper yard. So on 5 Dawn turn you can do both of these, which I found to be exceptionally strong. We have, of course, the boss monster of the deck, Vanilla Kalgara. It does its thing. When you get it on curve, it's really strong. Especially when you combine it with Noland. Noland really helps you offset the life loss, because using the leader ability several turns in a row, you're just gonna die on the swing back, honestly. So getting to play the Noland with the Kalgara, if you get 2 of them, you're in a really good spot. If you get at least 1, you're solid. The only problem is, it's not searchable, not yet at least, so you kind of have to hope you just mulligan into it or just draw it on a fluke. We have 2 of the super rare ace.
Rush Ace?
The what?
The Rush Ace?
The Rush Ace, yeah. So on play, if you have 2 or less life, it gains Rush, 7k. It's a really good finisher. The deck really needs some Rush. It's an aggressive deck, so having access to Rush is really good to be able to close out your games. Really hoping for a Shandian warrior with Rush, but
maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future, yeah. For our 2Ks, we have 4-cost Wiper. It is a 2K, so most likely we're just discarding it to protect ourselves, but it does also have an on play where you can search for upper yard and play it for free. So sometimes when you're in a pinch, you also just play it just to get some bodies on the board when you don't have a better option. Then we have 4 copies of the Satori. 2K counter, Sky Island, so it's searchable with both Upper Yard and Shura. It also has an amazing trigger where you can play it just by discarding a card. That has won me a couple games before, so it's a really useful card. And then we have 1 copy of Frankie.
Why only one?
Honestly, like, it's not really for any good reasons. I just thought the deck could use another 2K, and it has a good trigger, and I'm also a big Frankie fan, and I had the alt art, so I just thought, not really a good reason, I just thought the deck could use another 2K. That's really it. And then for the final character we have Tenkos NL.
How was this?
What?
So how was the NL for you? There's a one-off.
The NL felt alright. I got to use it a couple times. Sometimes I'm just discarding it, but I felt just having it as a one-off and it being searchable with most cards. I feel like when you need it, you're gonna get it, even if you only have one, because it's searchable. So, and the deck doesn't have any like really big, like Kalgara being the highest power character with 8,000. Some matchups you just lose because you don't have any good characters with high cost and power. So for like against like Lucci or against decks that run 8-cost kid, you just really need a high power body that can really just get rid of the kid. And then for events, I'm running 3 of the Earth Will Not Lose. So 1 cost counter, it counters for 3,000, and then you can also play an Upper Yard for free. It's searchable with both Upper Yard, Shura, and also searchable with Wiper, which is really important. Because Wiper doesn't have a lot of targets, and so making sure Wiper doesn't miss, and also just being really effective, like, because sometimes you draw Upper Yard from life and you really don't need it. This can play it for free. Elthor, I added this quite recently with the Katakuri, because like I said, I felt like the deck needed more defense. Like, the deck can put out bodies just fine, but being able to defend yourself is something that I really wasn't able to do before. So both the Katakuri and some extra Elthors went really well. Blaze Slice, main or counter plus 1k for the entire turn to a character or leader, and then if your opponent has 2 or less life, you can rest a 4-cost, aka rest a blocker in most cases. I honestly can't believe I used to not run this card. I was skeptical of it at first, but it has won me a lot of games. Just today, it has won me like at least 2, maybe 3 games. It's been performing really well. It's not searchable, unfortunately, so you're just gonna have to hope to draw into it. You can't really run more than 2. You could maybe run 3, but 2 is like where I'm comfortable with it. And then for the final card, just you're the one who should disappear. There are a lot of bricks. The other counter events, the Wiper, the NL, the Upper Yard, the Rush Aces. So there are a lot of bricks that you kind of need to have to have a way to get rid of, and you know, it's also nice just having a 1 in a million chance to get the trigger off as well.
Yeah. So would you change anything with your list in hindsight?
I'm not really sure. I feel like I should have maybe ran 4 copies of Katakuri. So, you know, you could switch out the Frankie with the Katakuri, honestly. and maybe 2 Shuras. I'm not really sure. I think the wiggle room in this deck is probably the Shuras and the Katakuris, because I think like everything else is kind of solid. You kind of need these 2Ks, the Omen, the Hollies. Later I might switch out Omen Holly for when the new card for Kalgara comes in, like OP12. But as it is right now, it's pretty solid.
Okay. Before we finish, do you have any last shoutouts you want to give out?
Shout out to my family. Shout out to the community back in Skåne. Shout out to #EMB that won the entire tournament. That's my guy. So yeah, that's about it.
Thank you for your time and congrats again.